Okay, Wildcats. Today we're looking at Wednesday, May 9th, trigonometry ratios on page 83. If you would, update your table of contents. All right, now your table of contents are updated. Let's take a look at the notes. All right, so trigonometry, sides, and angles on page 83. Finding side lengths of triangles. Step 1, choose which trig ratio to use. Step 2, substitute into the trig ratio. Step 3, solve to find the side length. All right, finding angle measures of triangles. Step 1, choose which trig ratio to use. Step 2, substitute into the trig ratio. Step 3, solve for the angle using the inverse ratios. All right, if you would, update your notes. All right, now your notes are updated. Let's take a look at the examples. All right, find the measure of each side indicated round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so we are looking for BA. So to find that, we see that first we want to write sa ka toa. Now for example 1, we can see that we have adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're going to use ka. Okay. So that means cosine of 37 degrees is equal to the adjacent, which is 11, divided by the hypotenuse, which is x. At that point, we're going to divide this by 1, so we can cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, we get x times cosine of 37 degrees equals 1 times 11 is 11. Then we divide both sides by cosine of 37 degrees. So x equals 11 divided by cosine of 37 degrees, which equals now, before you use your calculator.
Pardon this interruption, but it's time for the next set of giveaways for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Ooh, what? I bet you I don't win.
Paper Doodles goes to Christiana Johnson. Raising Cane Lemonade goes to Landon Wesley, Jennifer Drake, Keith Parker, Lori McCormick. Raising Cane's Box Combo to Claudia Hernandez. Freddie's Ice Cream to Josh Koontz and Mark Johnson. A Cinemark Movie Pass to Michaela Nichols. And a Teacher Appreciation T-shirt to Ashley Polly. Remember, they're in the counselor's office.
Awesome. Congratulations, all of you awesome Wildcat teachers. All right, now, before you do this problem, okay, what you need to do is go to on, and let me see if I can brighten the screen a little bit so you can see it. All right, on, and you're going to go to settings. Okay, document settings. Make sure that it is in degree mode. Okay, if it's in radian mode, then change it to degree, and then go down to make default. So that way, every screen you use, it's always in degree mode. Okay. All right. Now we go to calculate, and then we're going to put control divide 11. The trig button is right here. So there's the trig button. And then we're going to do cosine of 37 degrees. So the answer is 13.774. All right, so now let's take a look at example 2. Okay, so here it looks like we have opposite and adjacent, so we're going to use TOA. Okay, so tangent of 32 degrees equals opposite, which is x, over 13, adjacent. That point, divide by 1, we cross multiply. So 1 times x is x, equals 13 times tangent of 32 degrees, which equals, so we'll delete this, then we go 13, we press the trig button, which is right here, and then we pick tangent of 32 degrees, and that's 8.123. Okay, so now let's take a look at example 3. So example 3, it looks like we were given opposite over hypotenuse, so we're going to use so. So sine of 37 degrees equals x divided by 10.3. So divide this by 1 so we can cross multiply. So 1 times x is x equals 10.3 sine of 37 degrees, which equals, so delete that. Let me see. Test that. So then we're going to press 10.3 trig button, sine of 37 equals 6.199. All right. So we take a few seconds to update those problems or examples. All right, now let's take a look at example 4. It says find the measure of each angle indicated, round to the nearest tenth. And notice that's incorrect. We never round to the tenth. We always round to the thousandth place, which is 3 decimal places. All right. So it says find the measure of each angle indicated round to the nearest thousandth. All right. So it looks like we have adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're going to use co. So we have cosine of angle theta is equal to adjacent, which is 12, divided by hypotenuse, which is 13. Now, to solve for theta, we need to take the cosine inverse of both sides. So we're going to do cosine inverse of cosine of theta. But remember, what you do to one side, you have to do the other. So we do cosine inverse of 12/13. Now, whenever you take the inverse of the cosine, these cancel each other, and you're left with just theta. So theta equals cosine inverse of 12/13. So to put that in your calculator, let's delete that. And then we're going to we're actually going to press the trig button first. Okay, so we press trig, and it says right here cosine inverse. So then that's cosine inverse of 12 divided by 13. So that's 22.620. And that's because we're talking about theta, that's 22.620 degrees. All right. So now let's look at example 5. So example 5, it looks like we have opposite over adjacent. So we're using TOA. So we have tangent of theta equals opposite, which is 4, divided by adjacent, which is 13. Now we're going to multiply both sides by tangent inverse. So these cancel each other. So you're left with theta equals tangent inverse of 413. So delete this one. And then, so we press trig. And then we want tangent inverse of 4 divided by 13, which is 17.103 degrees. All right, now let's take a look at example 6. So example 6, it looks like we have adjacent over hypotenuse, so co. So we have cosine of theta equals adjacent, which is 6, divided by hypotenuse, which is 9. Now we take cosine inverse of both sides. So then you're left with theta equals cosine inverse of 6 divided by 9. So I had to put that in the calculator. Delete this. So we do trig, cosine inverse of 6 divided by 9, and that's 48.1. The 9 makes it 8 and 9, which makes it 1 to 2, so 48.2 degrees. All right, now let's take a look at example 7. All right, so example 7, it looks like we have opposite over adjacent. So we have ta, so tangent. So tangent of theta equals opposite, which is 11.9 divided by 10. So we take tangent inverse of both sides. So tangent inverse of tangent of theta equals tangent inverse of 11.9 divided by 10. So those cancel. So if with theta equals tangent inverse of 11 divided by 9. So delete this. So trig button again. So tangent inverse of 11.9 divided by 10. 0.959 degrees. All right, now let's take a look at example 8. It says solve each triangle, round to the nearest thousandths. All right, so looks like first thing we can probably find is BC, because we could use the trig function. We have opposite over adjacent. So let's find BC first. So we can say that tangent of 62 degrees is equal to opposite, which is 22.6 divided by BC. Now we divide by 1, so we cross multiply, so then we get BC times tangent of 62 degrees equals 1 times 22.6. We divide both sides by tangent of 62 degrees. So BC equals 22 divided by tangent of 6.2. So delete this. So then we're going to in calculator press Control divide 22.6 divided by tangent, so trig button, tangent of 62. So it's 12.017. All right. So now the next thing is to find AB. We know this is a right triangle, so we can use Pythagorean Theorem. So we know that 12.017 squared plus 22.6 squared equals BA squared. All right, so 12.017 squared plus 22.6 squared is 655.168. We take the square root of that. So BA is equal to the square root, control square root of. Now notice how I copied and pasted. So that way I actually got the number with all the decimal places. Equals 25.596. Okay, now the last thing is to find angle A. Well, we know the triangles add up to be 180 degrees, so we already have 90, so that means these two have to combine to be 90. So to find angle A, we take 90 minus 62, which equals 18 degrees. All right, at this point, if you understood all the examples, start working on the assignment on your own. If you have some trouble with the examples, come sit in the teacher-led station in class, and I'll start going over the assignment in class on Wednesday, May 9th. With that, have a wonderful Wildcat day.